Yeah, it feels great. First morning out, so everybody's pretty fresh and the weather's beautiful. It's not too hot yet. We got through our first 2 obstacles, no problem, rode right to them, and so now we got a little time to burn. We're having some fun.
We're really pushing these guys to not seek adversity, but when it does come, how do we deal with it? You know, how do we rise to the challenge? How do we check the ego? Jordan Kemper from British Columbia, Canada, one of the co-founders of Freshline. And we made it through Bootcamp 1 and 2, all the way to Bootcamp 3. Stoked to be here with a nice mix of guys. You know, we got guys from Denmark, from Australia, from Canada, from the US. It's always good to have that kind of international flair on these trips.
So, Virgil Smith, I'm a construction engineer, originally from New Zealand, live in Australia, and yeah, just love living life.
Yeah, I'm Mike Long, I'm 45 years old, I'm from Brighton, Michigan, and I'm an operations manager for an automotive cooling company.
I'm Chris, 49, I'm from Denmark. I've been working in the IT industry all my life, sold my company. Now I have a lot of spare time, which is why I seek adventure. And that's, I guess, the internet has a way of presenting what you need, and it presented Freshline.
I'm from Grand Prairie, Alberta, Canada. I'm self-employed and just happy to be here.
I'm from Calgary, Alberta, and I'm a geologist for an oil company. And yeah.
We're in Namibia, Africa. About to go on a wicked little ride, I'm hoping. Go explore the desert and get around and see some stuff. Living in Milwaukee, originally Australian. I run some logistics and trucking companies, so I play with trucks all day.
My name is Brett Valan. I'm from Chicago. I'm 33. I train athletes for a living.
When we got here, it was like 35, probably super hot, which is just good for the soul when you're from snowy Toronto like me.
This is the 3rd boot camp that I've been a part of. Had the privilege to instruct and to provide some of my experiences as a special operator and really challenging these guys.
Overall expectations of this whole trip is to find kind of a like-minded community, like a brotherhood, something that I can belong to, something that growing up playing sports, once you get done playing, you realize how much of that you miss is the brotherhood and the relationships. And as you get older in life, you really don't have that. So just trying to find a like-minded community that I can become a part of.
My biggest challenge, I think, is keeping that smile on my face when things get tough, and realizing that obstacles are good things. The challenge is a good thing.
I think the heat, not being in shape, and of course my riding skills, and not at all up to speed with many of the other guys. But hey, that's why I'm here.
So the idea with Bootcamp, came about back in 2019. We did an expedition year, and obviously, as expeditions go, things kind of go south sometimes, and we had a really gnarly desert crossing with a lot of challenges. I'm Petey. I'm the local guy on the ground for Freshline. I'm Namibian, and yeah, I help run all the boot camps on the ground. Let's get guys who think they're prepped for anything, and let's show them what it's going to look like on the ground, and what are kind of the skills that are necessary for guys to overcome certain shortcomings or to become comfortable really being in a miserable situation that they weren't prepared for.
Welcome to boot camp, guys. Every single day, we start our day off with PT. We bless the rains down here in Africa. So that being said, let's get on our face real quick. We introduced them to our PT, which they had a good time. I think a lot of them made it a lot worse in their mind than what it actually was. For some, it was easier. For some, it may have been a lot more challenging. 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll get these down, all right?
Hardest challenge for me is hands down PT. Not that I underestimated what we were gonna have to go through. I kind of had a sense of it from seeing other boot camp. But the level to which I prepared myself, you know, for 3 months I got up and ran a mile every morning. And, you know, sit-ups, push-ups, trying to hit that minimum requirement. And I think it's healthy for both planning and for just your general health to really take that more seriously and have yourself in a space that's ready to take on this type of physicality.
It's just gonna be normal squat, prison style. Try to be back on your heels a bit. Okay, get that butt all the way down.
The dad bod, being a dad, don't have as much time as I'd like for myself. And again, this is kind of a catalyst to really ramp that up and become much more physically able to do harder stuff.
3, 4, 5, 6.
I'd say the physicality and mental fortitude during PT is tough, but so worth it when you're done.
In the end, everyone got through it. They helped push each other through it. Guys didn't give up, and they all had a good attitude. So that's the most important part that we want people to take away from it, is that if you're going into it with a good attitude, you're gonna have a good time. If you go into it super negative, you're probably gonna get that outcome as well. But thankfully, all the guys, they thoroughly enjoyed it. They had a blast, and they really pushed hard. All right, guys, warm-up's over.
We're just going to do some basic maintenance now. The only stuff that I'm going to do is basically just prep you guys for the trip. It's if something should go wrong and you're out there, that you can at least just help yourself. We're not going to deep dive into the motor. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I can answer as far as my knowledge goes. It's the stuff that's always gone missing. Yeah. I've been racing for 23 years. I started at a young age, at the age of 3 years old. My dad got me into the sport, and it's been part of my life ever since. I've raced, I've won multiple Namibian championships. I've raced a few races in South Africa. I've been racing 3 years professionally in Europe. Sadly, due to COVID, I had to come back, and then I had a big crash in 2021, and I broke my femur and shoulder, and that kind of got me more into the training school side, because the things that I've accomplished and where I've raced and the people that I've met is it's nice, and it's stuff that I've always wanted to do, and I've achieved it. It was some of my goals, and I just like to give back to anyone, to people coming into the sport and people that are young and upcoming champions, and especially to all the people that never had the ability or the chance when they were younger to ride. And for me to teach them and give back to them what I've learned over the years that's what it's about for me. So that's kind of how my career changed from professional to a coach, but I enjoy it. And this is your home position. This is where you want to be. So if you guys ride and you get tired, just go back, basics, home position. Am I on the balls on my feet? Yes, no, I wasn't. I was flat-footed. Cool, balls on my feet. Where am I sitting on the bike? Am I sitting too far forward, too far back? No, I'm sitting above my ankles. Third question is, where are my arms? Up or down? Oh, my arms are hanging. Lift that up. And then, where's my head? Am I too far forward? Am I too far back? The head over the handlebar is only for standing. You can't be riding like this the whole time. You'll break your back. If you ride sit, you want to sit straight up like this. You want to sit here. But if you stand in your athletic position, your head needs to be above your handlebar at all costs. The only time where your head moves back is if you go into a braking position. That's all. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
All right, so we're about to start day 2 of PT for boot camp, and the guys are already making jokes, hoping that that I cancel this morning, but fortunately it's not gonna happen. We're about to get after it and about to have some fun.
Yo, keep it up, keep it up.
Bodies are getting sore, bodies are breaking down, but it's good because as one guy's getting sore and slowing down, the rest of the team's there to pick him up.
All right, ready? Let's do 30 squats. Let's go. All right, check it out, guys. So like we were saying last night, every day we pass out the goat and the rod to someone that's just absolutely crushing it, motivating folks, someone that is rising to the occasion, things like that. Those are some of the qualities of that type of individual. And then obviously the goat in a bad way to someone that might need a little extra help or a little extra encouragement. Tonight at campfire, so just be observing, just be watching and be thinking about who you're gonna pass that on to tonight at the campfire.
We're out here for day 2 of training. Yesterday we had a nice little get the rust off ride, get everyone used to. We started off with some basic trainings. Today we'll dive into the deeper training. We'll start off with just a warm-up ride, get everyone ready, get them back into the normal position. I'll run the position through again of body position and proper techniques and that. And then we'll dive into proper braking techniques, proper body position, what to do in an emergency case scenario if you have to, proper brake, and obviously also be aware of your surroundings. And then we'll have some fun on the little track that's down here. So.
What we'll do is you guys are going to stand at the orange cones and then from there drive off slowly, first gear, second gear, whichever gear you're happy with. Even first gear is fine for me for the beginning. You guys are going to come into the blue cones and you're only going to start braking at the blue cones. The idea of this is to stop before the red cones.
I think the way Mark teaches and the way that he gets you to, break the skill down into different components before you put it all together, that really helps cement it in your mind. You can have the conversation with yourself as you're riding, what you're doing, and then making sure that you're applying the technique in the right way, in the right manner, and you start to build that little bit of muscle memory, and then it starts becoming a little bit more natural and it builds it back into your riding.
Riding instruction's been phenomenal. Mark, obviously extremely talented, but not so much on the riding, on his ability to teach. He's very clear, he's very concise, he repeats things up to 3 times before you're going to go do them. So there's obviously a method there to his teaching that is very comfortable and easy to absorb.
We're going to have a slow race. You guys are going to pull off where you are. The race starts where the blue cone is, or where the 2 blue cones are. From here it's a race all the way to the orange cones. The guy to cross that side last wins. The guy to cross that side first loses. The guy to put his foot down first is out. You're the loser. Or to stall the bike. You guys are going to drive off. I'm going to set you off. You're going to drive off slowly. You're going to hit the blue cones and the race starts. You have to be in a standing position. No sitting down. If you sit, you're disqualified. You lose.
It's pretty cool. Like I said, we don't get to see each other much. He lives in America, I live in Australia, so it's a pretty cool adventure to have, middle of nowhere, Namibia, so I'm damn excited.
Oh yeah, I think it's building memories. I think it's some of the most important things you can do in life. And having this type of adventure, this epic adventure, builds memories that will never be forgotten and spoken around campfires for many moons to come, I'm sure. We've traveled the bush and spent many a day camping and running around doing silly things and playing silly buggers in the middle of nowhere, but mostly in Australia, but nothing like this, nothing on this scale.
Second track day, definitely an improvement from day 1. We went back to the same track, but Mark, pushed us harder, pushed us faster, and it was insane to see these guys that looked like they weren't going to be able to ride these bikes very far day 1. All of a sudden, they're pushing it and they're drifting corners and It progressed to the point that we actually hit the big track, and to see them, you know, hit some pretty sizable jumps and riding just a track completely made of sand, which any rider will know is an absolute calf burner. And when you're not used to riding sand, a super test. They killed it. They crushed it. I think everyone made it around the sand track, and just gave them that confidence from I'm pretty new to the dirt bike scene to I'm now ready to ride dirt bikes across Namibia.
How you guys feeling? Cold? It's gonna get colder.
PT yesterday, we went down the beach and dunes and spa right here. Dunes and spa is all day, but no, it wasn't. It was hell on the beach.
You're only as strong as your weakest guy. You're only as fast as your slowest guy. Okay, you can't leave people behind. So now, when we go hit the surf, you're gonna hit the surf together. You're gonna link arms, and then on your way back, you're gonna be in a line together. You're not going past each other. If someone starts falling out, you're gonna get them there. Working together as a team, that's what this is all about. All right? Trying to make you guys leaders, but we also want to make you guys good teammates. Help lift each other up. It doesn't take just the leader to help lift you up, you gotta lift each other up as well. And that's exactly what we're gonna do right now.
6:30, cold water, cold morning, foggy. A good team effort, I reckon. We spent some time in the water with a masochist named Benji, and essentially he tortured us for a good 30-40 minutes. It was great.
I don't know, what number are you on?
48, sir.
Was it as bad as you expected?
The water made it worth it. It's cold enough to cool you back down.
Stare at me.
Totally refreshing. Totally refreshing. Best hangover cure on the west coast of Namibia.
Any one of you at any time could have been like, nah, forget this, I'm done. But you didn't, you stuck with it, you crushed it, you guys worked together as a team. So, good job guys, way to go. All right, let's have a good day.
We decided to take our free day. We're gonna go and make a giant cauldron of soup and take it to just the poor area of town and feed as many kids as we can while we can. So, pretty fun experience. Play a little football, aka soccer, and just, you know, spend a day serving instead of going to the spa.
Okay. Don't take off my finger.
So we've started making soup for kids in the DRC. In Swakopmund there is an area of the community that lives in quite a lot of poverty, and so there's lots of kids that go without food, sometimes multiple days, and they will only have a small amount or maybe just even a piece of bread for supper, and that will be everything they get for the whole day. And they will walk to school, sometimes up to 10 kilometers, and then they walk home, and there are soup kitchens on most days, but there's nothing on Saturdays or Sundays. And so we've decided that as a family that we will make soup on Saturday and serve it on Sunday afternoons. And then we play with the kids, and we tell them Bible stories, and yeah, we serve them soup.
My name is Regina. I'm staying in the city called Swakopmund. In the area, it's Tiashi where I live, where the people are serving soap. It was my dream of one day if I could have enough money I could have served soap for the people which are having HIV and things like that. So it was my dream. I was thinking about it. So it seems my dream came true. I'm very thankful for that. It's an honor for me to have you guys to serve the soap for the kids.
We went out and we supported Jordan's wife. She's awesome. She does a mission at the DRC, which is the poorest part of town. Probably tens of thousands are well below poverty, living in tin shacks, and she takes out soup. And we fed them soup, and we got some soccer balls and some sweets and some fruit, and just the sheer joy.
little bit scared of us to start with, but by the end of it, they were all over us like a rash.
But it hit the feels. It definitely hit the feels.
Very humbling.
Candice is an amazing lady doing some amazing things, and I hope her ability to provide and give back continues. It's definitely a worthwhile cause.
During boot camp, we teach these guys about mission planning and the importance of planning for every type of contingency that may occur. And so we go through a very thorough process, just like we did in the special operations community, on how to plan out your mission, from the orientating yourself as soon as you get there, what's the situation on the ground in the country that you're going to be in, whether it's the political climate, how the locals feel about you, what's the criminal and terrorist activity that could potentially be in the area. And these are things that some folks don't take into consideration. They just say, hey, I'm going to go here, and they just show up, not knowing that there's a lot of different things that they could be encountering that they're not expecting. And so we have them go through that process. We also have them go through the orientation of the key terrain that's in the area, the obstacles that they may face along their route, and then the different checkpoints along the way. If they're missing somebody, and what to do if you are a missing person, or if you're the leader, and how to find a missing person, what to do if your bike breaks down, whether or not you have a medical injury or anything like that. So we are very thorough in our mission planning process. And you never know when something's going to happen. We had a flat tire actually on the way to this location. So when we left Windhoek and came to Swakop, we were about 10 clicks out. Everyone's tired, everyone's cramped in the van, and we can't wait to get here. And boom, tire goes flat. And so, everyone gets out of the van, we assess the situation, we're looking, and it's like immediately we saw it and we're like, let's get to action, let's get to work. No one sat around and was like, oh man, this sucks. No one was groaning and complaining. We all got to work, made it happen, worked together as a team, got the tire off, got the spare down, and did it. But it's super important for us as a team to think, well, you know what, it's not if something's gonna happen, it's when it's gonna happen, and am I gonna be prepared for it?
Day four is when everything comes together. We spent 3 days riding with Mark, riding the sand track, going from I don't know how to ride sand to feeling competent, mission planning, expedition preparedness, all this stuff that we've been chatting around dinner tables and navigation and all stuff. But today, it all comes together. We're leaving just outside of Swakop. We're heading all the way up to White Lady, which is quite a jaunt. It's about 250 kilometers through, side roads and riverbeds. And it's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be the guys' first real test outside of the controlled facility of, the track, and having Mark there as instructor. Now they're getting sent out into the woods. We've thrown a couple of curveballs for the guys just to get them thinking about different possibilities and outcomes. So it's gonna be good. We'll hopefully see you on the other side.
Yes, this morning left Gecko Ridge, come across this major pipeline. It's sort of quite a ways off the road, and climbed up, played around, goofed around a bit.
Great riding. We had to do a lot of fun crossings. We were driving up a riverbed with very different terrain. We could play around the sand and everything in the dunes. Super fun.
It was a lot of fun, that riverbed, wheeling through and wrapping through around all the corners and up and down all the hills. It was quite amazing, and the view was spectacular. You think you're on a TV show, because where I'm from, it's not sand, it's snow. It's not hot, it's cold.
We went everywhere. It was awesome. Some deep sand, some hard packed, some big berms, little sand drifts to act as jumps and whoops and things like that. So yeah, just a really good time.
So much fun. I don't have any idea how I would top this trip in terms of any other trip in my life, but hey, if it's possible, that'll be just amazing. So the stars here last night, you can see the whole universe, which is pretty rare. So yeah, awesome trip. Great instructors. We just had an awesome review of how to save someone's life if they get their arm cut off and that sort of stuff. Might be invaluable. We had a nice big crash with Jordan.
Well, you see, in my haste to have as much fun as possible in the riverbed, I saw this line, so I'm just like, I'm hitting it. And I'm ripping, and I look to my right to see where they're going, because I'm kind of going away from them to make sure I have eyes. By the time I look back, I'm just launching across the road. And normally the roads that are through the riverbed are pretty mellow. Not this one, not so mellow. Wreck this shoulder, wreck this elbow, ding my head real good. You know, my goggle went smash into my face, give me a little something there. But I'm at the back, and no one sees this happen. So over my comms, I'm man down. Oh, man down. Oh, man down. Man down, and then my cardo says, group disconnected. So today is desert crossing day. We're leaving White Lady, heading up to Twiffelfontein, and this, you know, for boot camp 2 and 1, this was the best day of riding. You know, we're going into areas that we had to apply for special permission. So it's a super, you know, huge privilege that we get to even ride in these areas. It's just a blast. It's where the guys are going to put all their sand training that we got from Mark into good use. They're literally going to be in the middle of nowhere.
Today was more about looking around and enjoying the countryside, so it felt more touristy, I guess, would probably be a better way to put it. It wasn't as tough on the body, certainly tough riding in some spots, but it was certainly more of a focus on the challenges, focus on having fun.
For the ride, we had a King of the Ride challenge, which made the ride more fun because we had small assignments.
It was actually awesome. You know, it sort of helped us as a team. You know, it was the first time we've ridden together as our little squad. It sort of pulled us together and just went, right, you know, we're in this together.
It's pretty cool to have these challenges. You know, we're not just riding across, we're making an amazing race out of it, making it game, making it fun. We took our mustaches out and we put them on, and the people, you know, there's a big language barrier and they're all looking at us like, what are you guys doing?
We actually got pulled over by the cops, so, and we had a great shot wearing the moustache behind his back.
The challenges were pretty unique. My most favourite was certainly the melon, which I nearly vomited. Ian! I can see why the locals haven't touched that for thousands of years or haven't made good with that. That was certainly the largest challenge today, without a doubt.
We were at the rock paintings near Twiffelfontein, near our campsite. I guess there's some rock paintings. That's how the tribes of old used to communicate.
Gather hunters who has been decorating the rocks to teach each other where are the water holes, which animals are there.
It almost looked like a hunter school there. That's what I took it as. Some place where they could gather and teach each other where to go find things. I can see groups of people showing up there to trade secrets about where they can go and find things to survive on.
Today we're going to go a little bit more in depth on terrain association, on how to use the compass, on how to just survive out here in an environment like Namibia. It is hot out here, there's wildlife out here, and there's not a lot of water out here. So if someone gets stranded, a bike breaks down, or someone goes missing or lost on this trip, it's going to be a real battle. Let's have a couple teams along here, see who could get to water. You got about 10 minutes. So we want to give these guys all the tools they need in order to ensure that they can get to shelter, get water, get food, and make it home safely. You could see how you get that glimmer of hope and you're like, I think I'm at it, and just getting into darker sand. If you keep going, you might find water. However, is the juice worth the squeeze? People on these survival shows will be like, oh, all you gotta do is just go to the riverbed to the side and you'll just dig a hole and eureka, you'll find water. No.
It's really an amazing world out here. It's so breathtaking. Yesterday morning, you know, we just enjoyed the sunrise. soon as that sun comes over the mountain, it hits you really hard, and you can feel it cooking your body, and it's absolutely amazing.
All right, that's where you stop and turn around, okay? But the entire way, all right, the entire way from here to there, all right, you're lunging there, okay? On the way back, you're gonna turn around. Burpee, lunge.
I won't say I love it, but I love pushing myself, and you know, we're all here, and you know, I'll put my hand up and just say, you know, not a single bloke here stop moving. Everybody, you know, the heart and soul of everyone is just cracking on. No one's giving up. You know, there was a saying earlier on in the boot camp, you're only as strong as the weakest link. Well, as far as I'm concerned, there's no weak links in the teams.
Right, you have to go now. Leave. Yeah. On your bikes.
Let's go.
We're
gonna open fire. So we started in Twiffelfontein and we made our way to Pomwag, and man, what a ride. It was so cool just doing all the challenges that we did. The boys had a lot of fun. We stopped at a local village.
For this trip, one of the assignments was to engage with the local people to maybe make a dance or something. And on the way, we met up with a really small community and started dancing with them.
Everybody just got back from church. The kids were in their Sunday best, and the smallest of them's in his white shirt that's now covered in dirt because, you know, he's 2.
And they were a little bit shy and getting into it, and Benji actually pulled out a couple of superb moves in motorbike boots, which I'm like looking at the guy going, that's up there.
We had to show them some of our dancing, and they showed us their dancing, and they were all laughing hard of what we could show.
We even had one of our guys do the haka, and that was so cool.
It's something we taught as kids, and it's the haka. The preacher man who'd run the Sunday thing, he actually called it out, and he was going, it's the haka. So I concentrated on him and delivered my challenge to him, and he stood there, you know, very proud, which is awesome, because that's what should happen as a response. At the end of it, you know, we shook hands and we bumped shoulders, which is a traditional thing to do here. So yeah, pretty awesome.
I'm a bit disturbed during the interview because I'm watching a dung beetle roll up a piece of shit right now. So yeah, it's kind of it's walking backwards with this piece of shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you don't get that at home.
The highlight of the trip was being invited into a local's home. That's something they didn't expect. Certainly the hospitality was very gracious for the amount of, or how little they have and how much they wanted to offer was intense.
Oh, wow. We got to eat with their family. They made us some fat cakes. We got to see the inside of their home. The kids sang us some songs. You know, even though they don't have much, they were so giving and so welcoming, and they just kept offering more and more and more. And it just puts a lot of stuff into perspective about how we live our lives in Western society, and how much we have and how much abundance we have, and yet how much do we actually give.
Elop kesatskaha. The similar is God is with us. Elop kesatskaha.
Started with morning PT, back in the pool. Always, you know, a fun way, type 2 fun to get your day going.
Benji tried to kill us as usual. Wasn't too bad though. The water was quite refreshing at 6:30 in the morning when it was still dark. Yeah, just did the usual, you know, in and out of the pool 400,000 times.
But no, it's great, refreshing. You know, wakes you up, and then we hopped on the bikes.
And we headed south down to Ugab Terrace Lodge, which is where we're at now. Super fun ride. Split into 2 teams. The trailing team managed to see baboons and a giraffe.
And as we're just cruising, team lead stops, pull over to the side, and there's just this herd of elephants, like 5 of them.
There was like, 3, what looked like 3, rather large adults, one, I'll say late teenager, and much smaller, more juvenile.
And so to just have that moment where you're seeing this wildlife in its natural environment is just, it's pretty inspiring, but and also really powerful. So it gives you a great appreciation of what's on this earth.
Piece right here too if you want some. Whoa! Come on, Sugar Bear!
Oh, is that what you guys were screaming at down there?
Man, I'm glad my tent's zipped up.
Look at this. Sleep well tonight, boys.
So each night we had fireside chat. We're sitting around in a circle, have a fire, kind of wrap up the day, talk about who was the goat, who was the rod of the day, have some friendly banter, and then get into more of a serious discussion of we were talking about past, present, future things. Stuff that we wanted to get better at, or stuff that we thought might have been holding us back.
Yeah, I'm not typically one to get into that sort of detail. But I look back on it and I'm like, it's so good. Men, stereotypically have a lot of issues with that sort of chat and stuff, and I know I do, and I don't talk to a lot of my close friends about some of the stuff we got into, and I think that was really valuable, a really valuable part of the boot camp, and I think that's going to stay with me.
10 relative strangers get to be super vulnerable with each other and talk about their past, their fears, their hopes and dreams, and what's going to keep them going. That too was amazing. Everybody comes from different backgrounds, different levels of hardship, and different experiences. Gaining the perspectives and seeing how the different personalities perform and approach the group was really rewarding, actually. I took a lot away from those sessions around the campfire, and I hope I offered something too.
So we're having campfire, doing our thing here in central Namibia, and the owner of the lodge comes strolling by as we've got camp all set up, and then he drops this bomb on us. He's like, so heads up, there's been leopard spotted in the area. There's a baboon kill, just literally, 100 meters? So for you Americans, carry the 2, about 300 feet away. And so yeah, we're really in ground zero of his territory, and we're all sleeping in mesh tents, so it should be fine. We're gonna have a great sleep before we hit the road and head further inland tomorrow. If this is my last transmission, I got no regrets.
Ooh, it's uncomfortable. I like it. Let's do it. I had some beautiful breakfast this morning, and then got threatened with a hike over the top of this hill in the background here. And that was all a lie. We ended up ziplining.
We've been on the trip long enough now that the bodies are starting to hurt. Mornings seem to be coming earlier and earlier as we go on. But the morale's still super high, and it was nice to kind of reward those guys with what they thought was going to be like a 5-mile ruck with some zipline time.
Baboon's nuts, guys. I think it was 880 metres the first zipline and 600 and something metres the second one. Top height of about 60 or 70 metres off the ground, which is absolutely amazing.
The staff here at Ugab Terrace, they know what they're doing. Amazing staff, amazing people, just like all over Namibia. And the ziplining view is incredible as well. So you get to see what the river used to be, and with those mountains carved out, it's just absolutely incredible.
And now we're off to Echo, which is an amazing spot, one of my favorite spots in all of Namibia. It's where they actually signed their independence. Today is Independence Day for Namibia, so it's cool to be here for that. It'll be cool to be at Echo and see where that was signed and where Namibia got their independence.
We went to visit Mount Echo Private School. Not sure how many kids were there, maybe 40, who belonged to all the staff at Mount Echo. Same sort of heartwarming thing as when we went to the DRC. Kids that would probably not be going to school otherwise if they were anywhere else.
I think at first we spent a lot of time talking to the teachers. They were just explaining what they were doing. and it sort of started to get a little bit quiet, and they sort of realised we wanted to interact with the kids and not just take their photos and walk away.
That's it. That's it. Wow, what an incredible time. Those kids, they highly enjoyed the bikes. We got to drive around with them.
Dirt bike rides for the kids. Obviously, they've never ridden on a two-stroke dirt bike before, or a motorcycle of any.
We probably spent 2.5, 3 hours playing with the kids out in their sports area. Whether it was playing games of soccer, piggy in the middle. We got 2 of the bikes over.
I took about, I don't know, probably 20 kids around on a little cruise on the dirt bike, and everyone was having a good time. And
I've never seen kids more happy in my life. It's truly like eye-opening. You come to school, it's all these younger kids, and they're just so excited to be able to interact with you, to play soccer, to play just different games, and even to dance. It's like everybody is way happier. They just are there in the present. They enjoy other people's company. It makes you feel really good, and it's like that's what I should be striving for in life, is that level of happiness. And it doesn't come with material possessions. It just comes from experiences, bonding with people, and just truly living in the moment and not worrying about, oh, my past or my future.
And just to see the guys just pour into these kids that they don't know, they'll never see again. They don't know any of their names, but just to see these kids and to want to brighten their day.
I love ice cream. Ice cream melts so fast.
We're actually going to leave here in a second so that we can go get Diesel and meet Team 1 at the rendezvous point.
It's the morning of our capstone. We're sending off the 3 teams in intervals, and the way we're going to start out is with some PT like we do every morning, and they're going to have to push their bikes for a bit all the way to the gate. We took away their engines for this first part of it, and we're going to be accumulating more and more challenges throughout the day for this capstone. So everything that they've learned from the beginning of boot camp till now, they're going to incorporate it into this last leg of their journey.
You guys aren't wearing spandex. Aren't you supposed to have spandex when you don't have an air fan?
A little disappointed. This is our last day, but I'm excited. It was so awesome, so epic. Can't wait to do this again. Can't wait the brotherhood. Love you guys, man. This is so special.
For the capstone, we wanted to make it difficult for them, but we also wanted to make it fun. And I know that those guys had an amazing time, and it was less challenging for them just because they were able to just knock out all their tasks that they needed to do. And we were actually having a hard time getting them to do some of the things that we wanted to get done. Like we wanted someone to get lost on purpose. We got a guy down, he's in an accident. All right, go ahead, get on your back. And so that way they could, implement their lost person plan, but they were just so on top of it, making sure that, everyone stayed together.
I tried 3 or 4 times, I hit brakes and like, where you going, where you going?
Yeah.
Jason, come back, we're looking at you.
Yeah. And as soon as someone dropped out, they were just right there to pick them back up. And then we did the medical scenario. We also had them do some tire changes and things like that. We also found a woman on the road.
She had got a flat tire, and the guys, instead of leaving, all pulled over, helped her get her spare on and get her on her way. And they obviously didn't have to do that. We're absolutely going to stop and help because we're in the middle of rural Africa. And who knows when help's going to come, who knows how safe it is for her to be here on her own. So it was really good, kind of unstimulated by any leadership, any planning whatsoever, to see all of our guys just absolutely to take to that and to make that happen.
It just shows the type of people that come on this trip. They're not guys that are just going to blow past somebody when they need help. They immediately pulled over, stopped, helped her out, and then continued on their way. So definitely proud of those guys.
Had a bit of fun with the gate guard at Erundi. They carry machine guns here, so at certain game reserves. So we were doing push-ups in front of him, and they thought that was pretty funny. There's so much little things, so many fun things that we do on this trip that are so memorable.
contest.
Yeah?
I was in third gear and I really found the top for a little bit, and then she got squirrely and dipped out to the right.
You good? That looks fucking cool.
So that final leg of the trip, going through the dry river bed and just kind of finally coming up to the gate of your final destination, it's definitely a bittersweet moment. It's rewarding in the fact that you got through the entire trip and you didn't die or didn't get seriously hurt, and you made all these great memories, but you don't want it to be over. It's just a very bittersweet feeling.
You know, the bonds that we've created with these guys and the friendships, forever life friendships, and you know it's over. It was very emotional for me. With my job at home, I'm alone a lot, and you know, being with a bunch of happy guys, laughing all the time and joking around, you know, I was pretty sad, and I didn't want it to end. You know, I wanted, you want to do this forever. Can we do this for the rest of my life? But, you know, you can't, and you got to go back to reality. And yeah, I'm gonna miss these fuckers.
Bittersweet, right? Like, we were all tired, and I'm sure happy to part ways with the bikes in many aspects. Like, it's definitely the right length of trip. It's a grueling trip physically, and you know, not every night's the best night of sleep. So to give up the bikes wasn't hard, really, for me, but it was at the same point. You'd love to keep going, but I think we'd seen everything we came here to see. So.
It was a fairly subdued celebration. A lot of hugs and various things to start off with, but then, yeah, the realisation is that that's the bikes. That's the job done. Time to go home.
Still a giant bunch of pussies.
Bootcamp 3, I would say, is now officially complete. I don't know how I feel about Bootcamp 3. It was so good. We had all of our guys step up. We didn't have any kind of confrontations to speak of, actually, which was kind of strange. But I think we just had an exceptional group of guys, but we didn't have, you know, all the same type of guys. We had younger guys, we had older guys, we had experienced younger guys, we had new older guys. It didn't matter because the attitudes were there, the team building was there, and when you have that perfect mix, guys just seem to rise to the occasion.
Bootcamp's essential, pushes everybody to their limits. Once you've encountered something that's challenging and extremely hard, it prepares you for what challenges may be ahead.
You're taught broad aspects of what you can run into, of obstacles and challenges. Personally, I think the point where I leveled up the most was my riding skills. I had never been riding off-road before, so it's totally new to me. And quite honestly, we had 10 days riding through pretty rough terrain, deep sand and water, mud pots, etc. I mean, it was quite challenging, but it's with the training we had and the amount of riding we did, it has really improved my riding skills.
Came in, and I think where I've leveled up most is the mental toughness. I think I was a fat, cushy, comfortable, complacent individual that enjoys my lifestyle. Coming into this knowing that I had to be patient, knowing that I was going to be uncomfortable, knowing that I was going to go through hard shit, and actually being in that moment and living chow to chow, as the great mentor Benji would have described. That for me was probably where I've certainly learned most about myself.
My favorite day, and it's crazy that I'm saying this, but beach PT. It's very unique, something that never experienced anything like that before. And as hard as it was physically, it's still to walk away and say that was something, you know, unique that you experienced in life. That's probably going to be one of the more memorable days of the trip for me.
I'd never ridden motocross before, so I was pretty scared of it going in, and hurt my back the first day, like 5 minutes into PT, which was totally unexpected. I've been going to the gym and prepping for this trip, and I didn't give up, and I thought you know, the trip was a wash on day one. So I learned that there is a way to push through things. Everybody around me, like day one, was helpful and supportive, and they don't know me from a hole in the ground, so that was amazing. And then to be taught all the things that we were in 2 days and be able to go out and do what we did was, I don't know, didn't think I had it in me, but I do.
I think what surprised me the most is that I think I fitted in. I can have a lot of self-doubt, so one of the things that I was quite surprised at is, you know, I came here, you know, looking at, I was turned 50 on the trip, and sort of thinking, well, I don't know where these other guys are in their lives and things like that, but you know, I'm probably going to be an outlier for some of it, and I wasn't.
Every single guy is going back to their home with a new mission, with a new purpose. They want to be better. They have realized where their shortcomings are, and that's a huge part of how we've built Bootcamp, is to push them in all different areas and see where maybe they weren't as strong as they thought, and to nurture that and to support that and to put the things in place in their life that they can succeed in those areas that they're short.
Yes, we want you to be the best leader on the ground in the expedition that you can be, but more than that, you know, we want to change your life and make you a better leader in your world, whether that is at home as a husband, as a father, as a business person, as a business leader. You know, we have these responsibilities every single day, and there's that old saying, it goes, how you do anything is how you do everything.
My name is Jordan Kemper. I'm one of the co-founders of Freshline, in charge of expedition, logistics, and leadership development.
My name is Benji. I'm the Freshline Bootcamp Leadership Development and Instructor Cadre.
We hope to see you at Bootcamp, and then from there we want to ride the world with you. So if you think that Bootcamp's something that you are able to do, you want to test yourself, push your limits, and make lifelong friends, then I hope to see you in Africa.
I love you, goodbye. I love you, goodbye. I love you to your journey. Enjoy your stay, enjoy your stay, enjoy your stay in Africa. Enjoy your stay, enjoy your stay, enjoy.